Welcome everyone to a Tomb King's Beastmen showdown between DBD's CaptTelus against PE's Nehkbet. So for the Beastmen in the front line, 3 units of the skirmish cavalry here with the Centaur throwing axes. Great here for the AP and also here that rowdy ability. So some nice mass here in the back with the double Razor Gore herds here with also that AP. They're really great here at pinning in all those constructs and destroying them nice and quickly. 4 units of the Goreherd shields here for the main battle line, supported by 3 cheap units of the Ungor spearheads with shields. In the back with the range, 2 units of the Ungor raiders there with that stalk ability. And for the hero, we are going to have the Brave Shaman of Wild. Here on a Tuskor chariot, he will have the Viletide, Traitorkin, and Bestial Surge. So for the main lord, we are going to have Taurox the Brass Bull here with Brass Body and Slaughter's Call, so relatively cheap. And over here on the right hand side, 2 units of the infamous Tuskor chariots. So, for the Tomb Kings, 2 units of the Skeleton Warriors in the front, alongside 3 units of the Skeleton Spearmen here in the back flanks, and 2 units of the Elite Tomb Guard. A unit of the mid-tier Nekahara Warriors in the front for the anti-infantry, and also the nice ROR Kepra Guard, here with that regen, magical attacks, and also those brilliant melee stats. In the front line here for the skirmish, 2 units of the Skeleton Horse Archers with 140 range, which is really nice here in this matchup. And in the back here, the Nekahara Horsemen. So for the heroes and the SEMs, we are going to be having the Necrotate here with Restore 1008 healing per pop, alongside the Vambraces of the Sun, giving a weakness to fire damage and negative 10 melee attack in a 40 meter radius. For the nice big monster, we are going to have the Sphinx of Yusef. Here, one of my favourite monsters in the game. Fire damage, magic attacks as well. Anti-large armor piercing and fire resistance, which is really great there up against Taurox the Brass Bull. Over on the right, we are going to be having Cetra the Imperishable here on his kitty cat. With the Wrath of Petra, the Incantation of Protection, the Incantation of the Cursed Blades, Unyielding Will, and the Restless Dead. So a nice army here coming from the Tomb Kings. A bit of a rare one. We don't normally see a composition quite like this. Normally we see a bit of Ushopti Great Bows here dotted in and around the pocket. But unfortunately there's going to be none today. But it should be interesting to see how the SEMs do come into play. Now there's going to be a bit of a kite in the front, and I like the drop here coming out of the Beastmen. Because these tentacles are going to be going away. They don't quite have the range here to contest up against the Horse Archers. Now they do have 93 speed against 76 here for the Skeleton Horse Archers, but it's not really a favourable engagement. The kind of uptrade cost is always going to favour here the Skeleton Horse Archers. On the right, we can see the spears are going to be ready to meet here against the Tuskor chariots, and the same here for the Sphinx of Yusef. So unfortunately, the Tuskor chariots can't really get in. The units are going to be a little bit too plentiful, and they're going to be very hard to cycle charge and push through. They might end up getting stuck and kind of paying the troll toll here from the Sphinx of Yusef. In the front, we can actually see the Nekahara Warriors firing here up against the Spearmen. They're going to be fighting very hard in the middle. We might even see a Viletide here in the back, it looks like. Yeah, it should be destroying the back end. That's some lovely damage there coming out of the Beastmen. Shooting over the top as well, the Nekahara Warriors do actually have 0 shields and no missile resistance indeed. In the front, the Skeleton Warriors are going to be fighting and just keeping this chaff nice and together so Cetra can get a nice big terror charge here in the front up against the cheap Goreherds. In the middle, running away here is going to be the Brave Shaman as well as Taurox the Brass Bull. He might turn and burn here though. It looks like he is going to come for the backside here of the Sphinx. He's going to get caught in the middle. We are now going to come in with the piggies. They are going to be getting in. You're looking at that huge mass to pin in up against the Sphinx. The Incantation of Protection there going with an Overcast for that added protection time to try and see if he can get that good 40% for a good long duration. Looks like he's going to be going low on leadership here, down to 12 leadership. We just have to be seriously careful there for that single entity monster. Shots coming in for the Skeleton Horse Archers. Traitorkin going down on both. That's going to do a lot of damage here up against the horses. In the middle though, looks like we are going to push maybe the Sphinx of Yusef out. Restore going down for that healing. I don't know if we're going to be able to get away here. The Sphinx of Yusef is in some serious problems. Over here on the left, a nice cycle charging coming out of the Tuskors, but we are going to counter charge with the Nekahara Horsemen. Try and see if we can pin them out and stop them from cycle charging into that pocket. They're now going to cycle charge into the back of the Skeleton Warriors. That's some really nice play here coming out of the Beastmen and Nehkbet. Throwing axes over the top, going to be firing into the Kepra Guard. They do have 50 armor and 0 shields, so there's going to be a lot of damage here in the middle. It looks like the Sphinx of Yusef does manage to get away, and now Taurox is out in the open. He is ready for the sniping, but he is going to be turning, and looks like we are going to drop back here with the Sphinx and the kitty cat. He's going to turn away. We do have to go for one and we can turn. Oh, there we go. What a lovely trap here. Oh my god, he gets pushed over here by Cetra the Imperishable. I've never seen that before. But it looks like here we are actually going to get an overcast, as we get an overcast Incantation of the Cursed Blades, which actually gives bonus large of 16. So So nice work there in the middle as we do try and destroy up against the big Taurox, the Brass Bull. In here, cycle charging is going to be the Brave Shaman. He is going to get pushed out here a little bit under pressure here of the Sphinx. Cetra will do some damage, but nowhere near as much here as the Sphinx. In the back, the throwing axes are still going strong. They're going to be hitting up against the big SEMs, especially here up against Cetra. We will get some good healing, but of course Restore is not going to be able to help the Lord. In the back, we are going to be pushing off the Tuskal Chats. They will cycle charge their way through this front line very, very easily. And especially with units such as Tomb Guard being as elite as they are, you really don't want them going for free here up against some of those chariots. Throwing axe is still going strong here in the front. The Necrotect is going to be fighting. Negative 10 melee attack here coming up against the Goreheads, putting down to 16 melee attack. That is so huge when you have 30 melee defense here for the Skeleton Spearman. Oh my god, the combat roll here coming out of Taurox the Brass Bull as he does find the front line. We do actually have a 5 weakness here from the Necrotect as he is in bandages. All heroes and lords do find themselves with a weakness, and Taurox could be here for the sniping. So we are going to be shooting in the front here. Looks like the Ungol Raider's firing here into the Sphinx. He does have 100 armor, so he's not going to be doing too much damage there with that ranged unit. Just leaping and bounding, trying to see if he can get up on Taurox. He is going to combat roll, but he is going to miss here up against the Sphinx. Now we can see here, going a little bit wild is going to be the Necrotect, pushing here on top of Taurox. He is going to be in his... Oh my god, the yeet push here coming out of the Brave Shaman. He is caught in the wrong neighborhood here in the front. Now, throwing axes looking pretty plentiful here on the ammunition. Same could be said here for the Ungol Raiders. Not going to be said there for the health of the Razorgore herds. They're going to be really key here in the later stages, pinning in all of the nice SEMs. Looks like here in the middle, we do actually have the Incantation of the Cursed Blades and Incantation of Protection here going down for the Sphinx. As he just tries to fight here against Taurox, yet again getting pushed over. He has super mass. I have no idea how he's getting pushed over by Cetra. But great work here in the middle, mixing in with the Kepra Guard as well. Now they do have a fire weakness, thanks to regen, but they'll certainly do some damage here up against Taurox. Throwing axe is still going strong here into the backside of Cetra. No shields for him, so only his armor is really going to save him in the later stages. Nice break here, using a bit of terror and some negative to leadership here up against the front line of the Goreheads. Spearman mixing in alongside Tomb Guard as well is going to be a lovely combination here on the right-hand flank. Banter power is going to be super even. I don't believe we've seen the realm of Yushafti coming through just yet. Spearmen are falling here up against the Gorehead shields, but we still have the Kepra Guard going strong. I'd like to see a little bit more pressure here coming down on the Centaur throwing axes. Spearmen are coming through, a little bit still on the Kepra Guard. A bit more pressure here could be applied from the Tomb Kings, but it's going relatively well so far for them. Tomb Guard are going to get met here by Goreheads. They kind of want to hold them back as long as possible, so we get kind of the mobility advantage here on the battlefield. Of course, the more we have here of the infantry in the front line, it's really going to reduce the mobility effect here we have from the throwing axes and the Razorgores. Pushing in, we can see here that Taurox the Brass Bull is super weak. 580 health for him as he does fight here in the middle. Going to be alongside here the Brave Shaman and moving in with the pigs. The Razorgores are going to try their best to pin in and get that AP going, but some nice hits and retreats here coming out of the Tomb King player. We see some lovely shots and big hits coming up against Taurox. 530 health for him, and he's going to be negative 10 leadership. We can make sure he needs to get off the edge of the map. He cannot go away free here. He will certainly return. But unfortunately here for that trade, we are going to get the Brave Shaman, who is going to be terrified, pinned in here using spears, charges as well. We should be able to get in here with the Sphinx and hopefully finishing him off. He's going to get charged off by Cetra, but it's not going to be quite the end yet. Balance of power is going to be pulling into the Tomb King favor. We can see some retreats here coming out of the Centaurs, trying to see them to get back in and around and see if they can protect up against their Lord and heroes. We do charge in immediately with the Ungol Spearheads. We do actually go down here with Taurox. The man here, the Brass Bull, does fall in the middle to the might of the man who doesn't serve. Now what we can see here, the Incantation going overcast yet again for the bonus versus large, which is so huge here up against such a heavily armored monster like Taurox. Throwing axes here, coming up against the silver shields of the Tomb Guards. Unfortunately going to be getting wasted there. Full and maximal damage output will come up against the Sphinx. That is going to be army losses! And GG's well played. We can see here a little bit of a break coming out of the caster, and that is going to be a full rout. And as you well know, Beastmen are so attached to their Lord for leadership. But what a great rout. And a brilliant win here coming in from the Tomb Kings. Such a rare one indeed. So 59 kills, 1,100 for Cetra the Imperishable, 106 there for the Necrotect. 1,850 for the Sphinx of Yusef. Some great plays there coming out of the King of Italia. 230, 180 there for the Skeleton Warriors. Spearmen in at 520, 230 and 330. And it's like here, the Nekahara Warriors in at 470. Tomb Guard 310 and 560, 190 kills here for the Kepra Guard. Lovely work with 1,081 damage value. And I really do underrate Nekahara horses myself. Personally, I used to think they were quite poor, but as you can see here, 820 damage value, and they're far much more tanky than their stats give off. 320 and 350 here for the Skeleton Horse Archers, and a really nice build here coming out of CaptTelus. So in for Nehkbet, we got 1,270 for Taurox the Brass Bull, 1.4k here for the Brave Shaman of Wild, 250, 170 and 166 there for the Ungor Spearman. For the Gore Herd midline battle line, we'll have 220, 110, 400 and 250, with the arrows coming in here at 420 and 410 there for the Ungor Raiders. So for the Chariot, 700 and 300, a little bit on the low side for them. They normally perform exceptionally well here, with 600 and 650 there for the throwing axes, with 400 for the last unit. And for the pigs, we've got 610 and 660. I really like them in this matchup. They can really pin up against all of those nice big entities and do some great AP damage. But what a brilliant game here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please smash that like button. It would really help here on the channel. Drop a comment down below about what you thought as well. What other things have you tried in the past that have worked in this matchup? I'd love to know. Other than that, if you are new, do feel free to subscribe. It would really help here on the channel. I did just reach 900 subscribers, and of course, I'm trying to aim for that 1,000. If you're also new, do check out that description. You can find all of my other social media platforms, including Twitch, but the most important one there will be the Discord. That's why I do all of my voting here for all of kind of my content I do on the channel for Twitch and for YouTube. You can see all of my single player and my multiplayer content, as well as all of the other games that I play. And also you can see my leagues and tournaments that go on a weekly basis here on YouTube and Twitch. And then also all of the other stuff, like for example, replays for casting. You can leave that for the replays for casting section. But other than that, I've been your boy Logic. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you all very soon.